Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is May 28th, 2025, and doubts are currently rising in regards to David Oduro. Also, Barcelona are confident in their decision of renewing Eric Garcia. And finally, the Lenglet saga continues. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. We'll begin this video by discussing the goalkeeper situation at Barcelona. Because as you know, Barcelona have Marc ter Stegen. Szczesny recently agreed to extend his contract. Barcelona are trying to sign Joan Garcia. And then there is the question of who will be the third goalkeeper, I guess, even though technically is the fourth. But anyways, the answer to that question on who is going to be the third goalkeeper of Barcelona is between these two youngsters currently in the academy. On the right, we have Diego Cochen, the 19-year-old American-Peruvian goalkeeper who recently extended his contract until 2028. And on the left, we have Eren Jakubishvili, the 19-year-old Hungarian goalkeeper who also recently extended his contract with the club until 2028. Two very promising goalkeeper with lots of potentials, who will have to fight it out for the third spot on the Barcelona first team. And I say third in between quotation because, again, the plan was to have ter Stegen as number one, Szczesny number two, and one of these two as a number three, either Cochen or Jakubishvili. But now with the signing of Joan Garcia, we'll see what happens. Hopefully that decision will not affect any of these youngsters because, you know, if I was one of them and I see, hey, the first team has three goalkeepers, where am I going to end up? That might complicate things, but hopefully that doesn't happen because, again, we have two very talented and promising goalkeepers currently in our academy. Now, speaking of promising young players, I do have good news, and this good news is in regards to Marc Bernal, our defensive midfielder, who unfortunately had to miss the entirety of last season due to that injury that he underwent during the first week of La Liga season where he had to undergo surgery. And while the good news is that Marc Bernal is in his final steps of his recovery. He's very, very, very close of being declared fit, which of course is good news because that means that he will be available for the preseason. Where Hansi Flick, of course, will be counting on him. It's reported that Barcelona and all the coaches that have trained him, including Hansi Flick, who got to see him during last preseason, have full faith in him. Everybody, all the coaches at Barcelona have full faith that Marc Bernal will be the starting defensive midfielder because they say he is the next best thing to come out of the academy since Sergio Busquets. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the future Boozy here. It's not enough that we have the best defender in the world, Pau Cubarsí, and the best attacker in the world, Lamine Yamal. But now we have the best midfielder, who is Marc Bernal, or at least the best defensive midfielder, because right now, for me, the best midfielder is Pedri. And I have to say, I cannot wait to see what Marc Bernal has in store. And now, speaking of players in the academy, we have to talk about one player who's not impressing, and that's David Oduro. As you know, Barcelona made several signings this past year out of the African continent. On the right, we have Abdelaziz Isa, a midfielder who Barcelona had a lot of faith in. He was showing a lot of potential. Unfortunately, it did not work out. He spent one season loan in Barcelona. Barcelona have decided not to exercise the option to buy, so he will not continue at the club. And on the left, we have David Oduro, the 18-year-old left back out of Ghana, who Barcelona gave him tryouts. He came to the club. He did his tryouts. He impressed all the coaches. And as soon as he turned 18, Barcelona signed him. Well, the news is that this past season, David Oduro did not manage to impress. And right now, there are doubts surrounding the player's performance. Mostly has to do with his defending. It seems that David Oduro has impressed as far as his attacking prowess, but as far as his defending, the club think that he still lacks a lot of learning. He needs more learning, more development. Barcelona are not looking to transfer him or offload him or anything like that. They want to give him another season to see if he can pick up on all the defensive gaps that he currently has, but David Oduro is going to have some serious competition because, of course, we have Jofre Torrents currently academy, a player that Hansi Flick is incredibly impressed with and thinks he can be the competition for Alejandro Balde given the future. So it looks like David Oduro has his work cut out during this upcoming season. Now, while we're on the topic of defenders, we do have to talk about Eric Garcia because Barcelona are now very confident that they want to extend the contract of the Barcelona defender. Now, Eric Garcia spent last season on loan with Girona. When he came back this summer, it looked like he could leave on a permanent transfer to Girona, but Hansi Flick blocked that move. He spent the first half of the season not getting really much minutes, so there was another opportunity for Eric Garcia to leave during the winter transfer market, again to Girona, and once again, Hansi Flick blocked that move, and during the second half of the season, Eric Garcia did a full 80. He went from a player being very close to leaving the club to now a player that Hansi Flick depends on, given his good performances and, of course, given to his versatility, where this season Eric Garcia has played as a center back, defensive midfielder, right back, left back. I mean, this guy plays it all. All he's missing is putting on some gloves and playing as a goalkeeper as well. Now, Hansi Flick sees in Eric Garcia, of course, a reliable substitute that can cover several positions, but also sees in him a reliable substitute for Jules Koundé. Of course, Koundé will remain the starting right back. He has shown to be one of the best right backs in Europe. But whenever Koundé needs some rest, maybe he's suspended, God forbid injured, Hansi Flick believes that Eric Garcia can fulfill that role. And as we've seen, he can do a pretty good job at it. And as such, Barcelona have decided to extend his contract, which expires in 2026. And it looks like Eric Garcia is happy to remain at the club. So it looks like we're going to have Eric for many more seasons to come. Now, another defender that we have to talk about is one that's given us a lot of problems and has been giving us a lot of problems. And it's no other than Clément Lenglet, where after 2 failed loans in the Premier League, now he has finally found a place at Atletico Madrid, where he has impressed El Cholo Simeone and has become one of his starters. Well, it looks like Atletico Madrid do want to keep Clément Lenglet, but the problem is that Atletico Madrid reportedly want Barcelona to rescind the contract of the player so they can sign him as a free agent. Yes, you heard that right. This Atletico Madrid for you, ladies and gentlemen. Not only did they screw us over the signings, David Villa, Luis Suarez, Antoine Griezmann, but now they want to screw us over with Clément Lenglet. They want Barcelona to rescind his contract so they can sign him on free. Of course, Barcelona want to transfer him and get at least 10 million euros, which is his market value. But they're saying if Barcelona do accept the contract rescission, they would want Clément Lenglet to forgive the money that Barcelona currently owe him. So it's like you either go and we sell you, or if you want to go as a free agent, cool, that's cool. But you're going to have to forgive some money. We'll see what comes out of this. Of course, Atletico Madrid will be looking to take advantage of us once again. But let's hope Barcelona don't let them, because honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of this BS. Anyways, the last bit of news is in regards to Nico Williams, because it's not looking good for the Athletic Club de Bilbao attacker. Now, Bild, the German media outlet, are reporting that Bayern Munich are very interested in the player. However, they are not willing to meet the player's high salary demands. And Arsenal, who were very, very interested in the player, they're also not looking to meet his high salary demands. So Nico Williams is currently having a hard time finding a new home. Of course, his agent was leaking all that news about his links to other clubs because he was trying to pressure Barcelona, because it seems like Nico Williams' agent had a pre-agreement with Barcelona where if the player didn't come to Barcelona last summer, he would come during this summer. But Barcelona went back on that and said, sorry, you rejected us, so no deal. So the agent was kind of trying to put some pressure on Barcelona by saying, look, all these clubs are interested in my player, but that didn't work because Barcelona is still taking the same stance where if Nico Williams wants to come, he's going to have to take the first step. Otherwise, Barcelona are not going after him. And also, now other clubs are rethinking the signing of the player because they don't want to pay the high salary that he's currently requesting. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with Nico Williams. But right now, it's not looking good for the player. Anyways, that is all for this video. I did do the podcast earlier today. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.